So how long have I been playing God tier at this point? A year and a half, 2 years? And I'm using God tier as a reference leading into today's vlog. You're starting that new wargaming system. It's caught your imagination. The models are absolutely amazing. The rules dynamic. All things God tier, absolutely. And you're jumping in. You want to get good fast. What's that template? What's that checklist? Because playing games is great. Talking about games is great. Winning games is best. Can we cut down that learning curve? Now, the first thing when you're jumping into a war game, or I should say a new system. I mean, this could apply to even some of the more complex board games out there. Are you part of a regular gaming group where it's established? I'm new to Warhammer 40,000. I'm jumping in. I can go play weekly games at the store with dozens and dozens of players. Or are you literally starting from the ground up? With God tier, for myself, there was nothing local. Jumping in with that and a few friends that would be interested, not only were we going to be learning the game, was I going to be learning the game literally day one, but also not having that community resource to locally play. So that's the first entry point. And neither is right or wrong. It just changes the flow, the ascension to godhood, to tabletop glory a little bit differently. Things are easier if you're part of a gaming club. On the one hand, because you can go and have a vehicle to play games every week. And while there is a mix of new players and old players, chances are you'll find someone that knows the rules. And there's nothing like learning the rules quickly by playing the game and having someone walk you through that. The first step in learning a system, of course, is understanding the rules. I say understanding because we don't need to have them memorized. That's what the rule book is for. Learning the rules in terms of what you can do and can't do is very, very important. A gaming group format makes that much, much easier, especially if it's established. Jumping in at God tier, I mean, the rules are very fluid, very dynamic, very well written, but we had to kind of figure out those aspects on ourselves. So it's a little bit more challenging if you're building a group by yourself or you and your friends are picking up a wargaming system and jumping in versus an established club. The second aspect, of course, is just literally playing games. I mean, this is what we're here to do, to buy, to build, to paint, to play with your friends, setting up some time where you're going to play. With the club, setting up some times you're going to play. Getting to the store, you're going to play. And you're going to ask me for a number. I'm going to throw it out there. 20. Your first 20 games don't count. You're going to try to win. You might win. You're probably going to lose. With your friends, if you both have equal experience, you might not be sure who exactly did win or lose. But those first few games, we're going to try to win. But it's learning the system. It's learning the mechanics. It's learning the factions. It's figuring things out. Don't get caught up in winning yet that you get frustrated. But at the same time, it's tabletop. We're going to try and win. And then at that point, being able to move on from playing games and actually start winning games. Now, let's talk about supplemental resources. And this is where a club has some advantages or a gaming store has some advantages. But even just with yourself using supplements like YouTube and forums and online resources helps tremendously. At a club, you're going to be playing a variety of players. Interesting personalities. We'll just leave it at that, whether it's a club or at the store. I find when I'm learning a new system, in the past, when you finish your games, win or lose, talking to your opponent, talking to some of the veterans, getting them to explain your army. Think of them as an untapped resource, as almost like a mentor. And you might have to put up with a little bit of BS or deal with some personalities, but that is a tremendous resource to plug into real time that can really, really help you learn fast if you can kind of put up with some of the personalities there. With you and your friends, you're learning at the same time. That's where you turn to YouTube. That's where you turn to different channels. Now, certainly being part of a gaming group, you're going to do that also. You're going to plug into that, but you don't have that by extension. The advantage of you and your friends is you don't have to deal with some of the crazy personalities at gaming clubs and gaming groups. So that kind of counterbalances it. But that entry point in, this idea of when you're learning a new system, how can we cut down that learning curve, and how can we get you to the point, whatever it is, whether it's a Warhammer or God tier or even Battletech, where now you are consistently winning games and playing the type of missions and playing the type of models that you want to play.